Okay. So if you've had a cervical fusion or you're just dealing with some pretty advanced neck issues, you were probably expecting some pain, right? But what you likely didn't expect was this weird, unsettling dizziness, this feeling of being unsteady, or how a busy place like a grocery store suddenly feels completely overwhelming. We're going to break down exactly why that's happening and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it. So let's just dive right in. Does that hit home for you? That feeling like you're trying to walk on a boat, maybe? Or that the aisles in a supermarket are just this massive, intolerable blur of color and movement? Look, you are not alone in this, and I want you to know these feelings are very, very real. They're a direct result of some big changes in how your brain is trying to process the world around you. First things first, let's just acknowledge what's going on here. If you feel like your whole world is constantly shifting under your feet, you need to hear this. It is not in your head. There is a very clear physiological reason for it, and we're about to get into exactly what that is. So, let's get right to the heart of it. If it isn't just neck pain, then what is it? I mean, why would a problem in your neck make you feel so visually overwhelmed and completely off balance? Well, the answer lies in this fascinating and kind of clever adaptation your brain has been forced to make. Now, you might have been told by someone that you have something called cervicogenic dizziness, and all that really means is dizziness that's coming from your neck. And, while that's kind of true, it's also a bit of a misnomer. It just doesn't really paint the full picture of what's truly going on under the hood.
What's really happening is what we call a functional vestibular hypofunction. And that's just a fancy way of saying it's a byproduct of your neck's immobility. Think about it. When your neck can't move well, your head doesn't move well either. This lack of movement means your inner ear balance sensors, they just aren't getting stimulated. And your brain, which is incredibly efficient, starts to basically ignore these quiet sensors. They become weak from disuse, even though there's absolutely nothing structurally wrong with them.
And this brings us to the most critical concept of this whole explainer. I call it the brain's sensory pivot. Because those signals from your inner ears are so weak now, your brain has to completely change its strategy just to keep you upright. It has to pivot.
So normally, your brain uses this beautiful harmony of three different systems to keep you balanced. You've got your sense of touch and body position, especially from your feet and neck. You've got your vestibular system in your inner ears that detects motion. And then there's your vision, which is supposed to be like a silent navigator, just kind of confirming what the other two systems are already reporting.
And here it is. Here is the pivot. With that vestibular system being ignored, your brain massively over-recruits your vision. It forces it to switch from just being a navigator to becoming your primary stabilizer. Just think about that for a second. You are now literally using your eyes to hold yourself steady, and that is precisely why busy environments become so completely intolerable. Your main anchor, your vision, is being flooded with movement, and your brain just loses its grip.
So, with this pivot happening, your brain also starts using your sense of touch in a brand new way. It develops this kind of radar system to keep you safe. Ask yourself, have you started doing any of these things without even realizing it? Right? Do you find yourself standing with your feet a little wider apart, or maybe gripping the floor with your toes? Have you started walking a lot slower, maybe even shuffling your feet? Or do you find yourself reaching out to touch walls and furniture just to get your bearings? These aren't signs of weakness. They're actually really clever compensations your brain has come up with because it just doesn't trust its internal balance sensors anymore. Okay, so now for the solution. Here's the good news. Since this whole thing is an adaptation, we can help the brain adapt back. The key is to reverse that pivot and intentionally start waking up your internal balance system again. And the most crucial point to remember is this: it all starts with the neck. As you gently and safely start to restore more movement to your neck, you begin providing the stimulation needed to wake up those dormant inner ear sensors. And as that vestibular system gets stronger, the brain can finally let go of its death grip on your vision.
So that leads us to the practical part, a simple set of exercises designed to re-educate your brain. The entire goal here, the whole shebang, is to force your brain to stop relying so heavily on your eyes and to start trusting your inner ears again.
And listen, I cannot stress this enough. Safety is absolutely paramount. You must perform these exercises in the corner of a room. This gives you a wall behind you and a wall to one side, so you can always catch yourself if you feel unsteady. No exceptions.
All right, the foundation of this whole program involves moving your head through 7 distinct positions. So you're going to be looking straight ahead, then up, then down, then to the right, then to the left, and then tilting your ear towards each shoulder. Every single exercise we're about to cover will be performed in all 7 of these positions.
Okay, here are the 3 core exercises. And remember, do them in that safe corner. For each one of those 7 head positions, you're going to do 10 side-to-side weight shifts, then 10 forward and back shifts, once with your right foot forward and once with your left. And finally, 10 little marches in place. But here's the most important part. You have to do these with your eyes closed. This is what takes away the brain's visual crutch and forces it to start listening to your inner ears again.
Just a heads up, you are probably going to feel more dizzy while you're doing these, especially at first. Please do not be discouraged. This is what we call positive discomfort. It's actually a clear sign that you are successfully challenging the brain's faulty strategy. It literally means the program is working. So let's bring all this together. Your path back to stability is really built on 2 things. First, truly understanding the why behind what you're feeling, and second, taking these very specific steps to actively retrain your brain. I want you to remember this powerful idea. Your body isn't broken. Your brain did exactly what it was designed to do. It adapted to a new situation, which was neck immobility. It chose a strategy that has some really unfortunate side effects. And the great news is, you now have the knowledge and the tools to guide it toward a much better adaptation.
This right here is your path to taking back control. It's your path to walking through a grocery store without feeling overwhelmed and to just feeling steady on your own 2 feet again. And that journey, it starts with that first, safe, eyes-closed weight shift.
And finally, it is absolutely essential to state that the information provided here is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. These exercises should only be performed under the guidance of a licensed healthcare professional. If you experience severe dizziness, any loss of consciousness, or worsening neurological symptoms, please consult your physician immediately.